Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're gonna talk about another book by the Amish Tripathi, or you can say that the second book from the Chandra series, which is known as the Sita Warrior of Mithila. So this book is kind of really good, and we'll get into the review. But before that, if you have not read the first book of Chandra series, that is Sign of Ishwaku, I will suggest you to pick up that book. Although every book is standalone, it's not necessary that you should go with the plot or you should go with the series. You can pick up any book. There are 3 books right now. One is the Sign of Ishwaku, second one is Sita, and third one is Ravan, and all they meet at the single point, the kidnapping of the Sita. So this is how the story goes in the Chandra series. So I already read all 3 books, and I already made a video on the first book of Chandra series, which is Sign of Ishwaku, or you can call it as a Ram, because the cover is changed, the name is changed, and to just get in the context of the Chandra series, the cover and the name is changed. But I already made the video. There is a link in the description, or you can see the I button. You will get to know about that book. If you have not read that book, I will suggest you to read that book, or if you want to directly go into this book, you can pick up this book also. So we will get into the review of the Sita Warrior of Mithila. Before we get into review, if you are new to this channel, do subscribe, press the bell icon, so you will get notified whenever I upload a new video. I talk about books, I talk about marketing, I talk about freelancing, I talk about how you can make money online by home, because that's what I do for my living. That's what I do for from the last couple of years. So if you want to know more about it, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon, and definitely follow me on the Instagram. There are few things I really want to talk about before getting into the review, because these are really important. These are really important to understand. Otherwise you will get disappointment. You will start hating this book, because we have heard a lot about the Ramayana from our childhood, from our grandparents, and we know certain plots, we know certain things, how move in the Ramayana. So this book, if you want to read this book, try to reimagine everything. Don't try to connect dot between what you know and what's in this book. Otherwise you will get disappointment, highly disappointed. And if you don't want to get disappointed, it's my sincere request, do not try to imagine everything from the scratch. Try to go with the author's perspective. Try to go with what author is saying, because obviously it's not like that everything is true, it's not like that everything is wrong. But whenever you are reading a new book, whenever you are reading a fantasy book, it's important to go with the imagination. It's important to create different kind of imagination. This book is purely based on the author's imagination. If you try to connect what happened in the Ramayana and what in this book, you will get disappointment, and you will start hating the book, you will start hating the character, and I don't want to happen with you. So obviously it's happened with me, but I know that storytelling skills of Amish. I already read the Shiva trilogy, I already met author a lot of times, so I know how these things work. So it's my sincere request. I'm going to put just what is the positive points, what is the negative point of this book, and it's ultimately up to you to pick up this book or skip this book. But if you want to understand a new perspective, if you are the person who don't believe completely on Ramayana, it's kind of for 70%, 80%, then you can definitely pick up this book. But if you're a hardcore fan of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and you want everything as it is, then you will definitely hate this book. This is a really this is really important point if you are starting to read the Chandra series, because you will get disappointed a lot of times in a lot of different way from starting to the end. So I don't want you to happen that. So try to imagine with Apple. Try to author storytelling kills it different, and he talk about new imagination, he talk about completely different scenario. So if you want to enjoy the new world, then definitely pick up this book. That's the sincere kind of, you can say it warning, you can say it as a sincere request or kind request. Cover of the book looks amazing, the fighting spirit of the Sita, because from the Ramayana we know Sita as only Bharatiya Nari kind of thing, or kind of silent character. But these books talk about a new imagination. This book talk about a new way of looking at the Sita, the goddess Sita, or the warrior spirit we can see from the cover. And I really like the cover. Even I really like some of the plot of this book. We will get into the first chapter, which starts with a very high note, and that's what something I really like about this book. The first part will keep your expectations so high that you will start reading this book continuously. After that, after that we came to know about the Sita journey, that from the born, from everything about the Sita's life till the kidnapping scene. So this book is obviously, because the kidnapping scene is the main point of all the Ramachandra series, and then there are again 2 books that will continue in this Ramachandra series. But the starting few chapters, or I will say that first 100 or 150 pages, or we can say that the 50% of the book, it's all about the Sita journey, which is I personally like the most. In the Ramachandra series we get to know about the Ram, and the second book is all about the Sita, and I really good to see the new character of Sita. The Sita is my favorite character in this book. The initial chapter of the book starts with the fighting spirit of the Sita, and then story moves back to the making of Sita as a warrior. After that, few chapters talk about the growing of Sita, or the young Sita, we can say that. And Sita is not only made to learn science or to learn just philosophy. She was made to learn a lot of things about war, a lot of things, how to generate that warrior spirit. About the characters, there is a lot of character in this book from the Sita's perspective, and this book is narrated in a good way, and the plot is little bit book. I will talk in a bit. We're talking about the characters are developed really well. They have described really well the generation, or you can feel the character really good. My favorite character is obviously the Sita, because that's the main character, and the way Sita character is developed, the way Sita character is narrated, it's really awesome to see a good point of view of Sita, as we know, because we know Ramayana from the kidnapping point of view, or we can say that a little bit of Sita, but this book is more about the Sita and focus on the Sita's journey, or how's the life of the Sita, what are the things happen in Sita's life from born to till date. So this book is around those, I mean not exactly the book, I can say that the initial 100 or 150 pages talk about the Sita's journey, Sita's character, and there is an entry of Ram in this book, and everything messed up after that entry, because if you have read first book, then you will start seeing the same pattern. To be specific, if we talk about the Swayamvar thing, I already discussed this Swayamvar in detail in the Sign of Ishwaku video. If you want to know about that more, what thing happened, what thing go wrong, you can go check that video. But to be specific, talking about the Sita Warrior of Mithila, and there is a chapter that starts the Swayamvar thing, and you started get frustration, you started get boring, because the same part, the same sentence, same paragraph, same story, same things repeated in this book from the first book. You can say that exactly same thing repeated in this book, and that's really not a good part to digest, because the starting initial part, if you talk about the Sita's journey, that pump up with you with high energy, to get all those things to at a single point, to understand, to generate that curiosity, what is going to happen next, because we know we'd never realize the Sita's importance or the Sita's journey in any Ramayana series. So we'll first understand the 100 or 150 pages really good, and after that Swayamvar thing start, and you can see that the repetition same from the first book, literally each and everything repeated, same, and this is quite disappointing for me personally, because this book is around 360 pages, and the pace is, the first initial pages about the Sita journey was really good. I really appreciate that thought, but when it comes to the point where the Sita, like you can see, if this is a line, you can start here and Sita's journey here, and after that all these points are repeated, all these chapters are repeated from the first book, like exact scene, exact situation, exact things, like there is no difference between first and second. So this is what I personally feel, which is I don't like about this book. And my sincere request to you, if you have already read the first book, start skipping the pages, or do not read those chapters when you see the same pattern, if you want to enjoy this book. Or if you want to get disappointed, then you can continue reading however you want. But this is my sincere suggestions to you. If you want to enjoy this book really good, then whenever the Swayamvar scene start skipping the chapter, start skipping the pages, and move ahead to the points that you don't know about the Sita character. That's how you can enjoy this book. That's what I can say about this book. Talking about another good point is the imagination. As always, Amish Tripathi is great with the imagination, and that's really good to see. And the character development, or the imagination world, or we can say how the cities or how the Ramayana is built up. That's really good, and that's brownie points for that. But I can remove that brownie point just because of the hardly around 40% repetitive part in this book, and quite disappointed. I'm not that connected with all those things, and if you have already read the first book, you will get highly disappointed, and you will start what I can say, you will start getting out of the interest zone in this book. And there is a really good part at the end of this book which will keep you hooked, which will keep you interested in this book. There is a really good point at the end of this book, which is, I don't want to give the spoiler, which is I don't want to talk about, which is really highly expected, which is on a high note, which is personally I felt and personally I liked. But because of that Sita Swayambhu and the repetitive part, most of the people will lost interest in this book. And this is my sincere request to the Amish, if he is watching this video, that do not try to copy paste all those things, because we don't want to see the same thing again and again in the new book. If this book can end up in the 100 and 200 pages, that would be much awesome, much great. If you talk about only Sita's life, and you can one chapter finished that the Ram and Sita meeting, or you can say that the Swayambhu thing, you can finish in one chapter and end on a high note, that would be much better. But anyways, this is the book, and this is all about this book. If you want to pick up this book, definitely pick up this book if you want to know more about the Sita's life. But if you have already read this book, I already told you what to do. Whenever the Sita Swayambhu start skipping the chapters, start skipping the pages, and go to the end to enjoy that really good point of this book. I am not going to give a spoiler what is in this book. There is a spoiler, or there is a high note in the first chapter, and there is a high note in the end chapter. And the third book is all about the Ravan, the three different characters. The first one book, the Sayanavish book, talk about the Ram. The second book talk about the Sita, and third one talk about the Ravan. And all these things are going to meet at the single point. I mean, all three books end at the single note, that kidnapping of the Sita. And we will see what is in the next book, probably next year. I don't know when the Amish will launch the next book, but I'm really hoping for that book. So that's, I guess, for all this book. There are some positive points, there are some negative points, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know what do you think about the Sita as a character, because that's my personal favorite character in this book. I'm not going to rate this book because I believe everyone has their own perspective, and this is my perspective on seeing the book, because I love imagination, I love mythology. I enjoyed the first book more, but that too there are a lot of descriptive points. In the same way, the second book is also 360 pages, which is quite huge. And if you want to enjoy this book, then you can pick up this book. If you enjoy the soap place, then you can definitely pick up this book. That's what I think about this book. And I will going to shoot a video on the Ravan also, and probably that will be out in the next week, so you can get to know what you should read the Ramchandra series or not. But there are other two books are yet to come, so hopefully I will finish. I already finished the 3 books and waiting for the another 2 books. I already read the Shiva trilogy, and just because of that imaginary part, I love the Amish writing style, I love the Amish narration style. Other than that, we all know the Ramayana, we all know all things happens. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, if you enjoy this video, do like and share with your friends. Do let me know what do you think about the Sita Warrior of Mithila. I enjoyed the first part of this book. I mean, I enjoyed the first Sita's part of the journey and not the second part of the book. Hopefully same thing happened with you if you are following me on everything. So that's all for the today's video. If you are not following me on the Instagram, go follow me on the Instagram, where I post book related stuff and all the marketing stuff. That's all for the today's video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.